Coach Schaefer, just to start with, I mean, what made you want to come to SU? What made you want to work with Coach Fran Brown?
Yeah, the people. So starts with Coach Brown. Obviously, I had a prior relationship, right, working with Coach Elijah Robinson, and I knew about his relationship with Coach Fran and how far back that went. And after speaking with Coach Fran, it was like, just point me in the direction and tell me where to go. So, he's just as genuine as anybody I've ever met. And that's really all you can ask for, right? Every day, know where you stand, and it's awesome working for him.
Was there something specific he said about his vision for you or his vision for the program as a whole that really stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, he laid it out from the beginning, what we were going to be about. The very first conversation, laid out his expectations, how he was going to do things. And really the first conversation too was like, tell me about your family. And we got to just talking about, honestly, personal stuff. And that, again, that's just different. Not everybody's like that. So that piece of it was really exciting.
Has there been anything that you've been seeing in spring practice that you've been particularly excited about or impressed with?
Yeah, the players' eagerness. For one, they're willing to learn, they're willing to take coaching, they're willing to play the game the right way, respect the game, play it physically, play it violently. But really just their eagerness to learn, their eagerness to put in extra work. I mean, they're always up here. So they're always up here, they're always asking questions, which is a huge piece. If we were to leave practice and not see them again for the rest of the day, which some places it's like that. These guys come back, they want extra film work, they want extra drill work, and that piece of it, that feels like it gives you a shot.
Coach Robinson has said that he wants to mold the scheme to the players that he sees. Yep. That being said, kind of explain the role that you're coaching in this scheme and what this defense is kind of at the core.
Yeah, so, for myself personally and where Coach has me at, right, is in the back end. So, we do a great job with Coach Fran, myself, and then there's obviously guys on the support staff that are very helpful as well. But we meet as a whole unit in the back end. So the entire secondary, we meet together. And then when we branch off and do different things like that at practice, Coach Fran obviously takes the corners. I have the safeties and our star. And I think really ideating what our players can do, it's a daily work in progress, and we're still learning that. We're only in practice 6, of a first-year staff. So I think every day we're identifying different things that each guy can do, and each thing that we want to keep guys from doing. You know what I mean? So I think that piece of it's really a work in progress. But fortunately for us, we have guys from all over the map, as far as what we've run defensively and things like that. So that piece of it's been really good.
With Coach Fran's experience as a secondary coach, one thing he just noted is eye discipline.
Yep.
Something you guys have been working on. Can you expand on that a little
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we're playing, man-to-man or if we're playing zone, I mean, your eyes are in different places. Are you playing middle field defense, you're playing split safety defense, your eyes are in different places. And so for those guys, the D and dart is really important. You know what I mean? And they got to have great detail in every single thing they do, and it starts usually every snap with their eye discipline.
What skill set are you looking for out of that star position, and are there who are you sort of looking at maybe?
Yeah. The guys right now that are playing that spot, right? Justin Barron, Jaden Gould. I mean, they're doing a great job. But really, all three of those guys are interchangeable. All three of those guys in the back end, they all have to know both safety spots, the star spot. But what we're looking for is a guy that really, we want that guy around the ball a little bit more than we may the two higher safeties. But he's got to be able to make plays in the rush game. He's got to be able to make plays in the pass game. He's got to be kind of a jack of all trades, you know what I mean? So identifying that guy is really important, really critical to what we're doing.
Fran switched Deuce from cornerback into the safety room. Just what have you seen of his progress and how he's progressing?
Yeah, Deuce is a guy, he's played a ton of football. He's really savvy, and so you get him in those spots right now, right, where he's not out on an island at corner. He can be around the ball a little bit more. He's really a headsy guy, really intelligent, great in the film room, asks the right questions. He's the type of guy who's going to ask different questions than the freshman, and he's been doing a really good job. That's been a bright spot in the room for sure.
Coach, how much trust and communication is there with you and Coach Brown, considering that, he's essentially giving you his baby in terms of the DB. So how much trust and communication is there, and, how much feedback are you taking from him on a daily basis?
Yeah, a ton. I mean, he's the best. I mean, honestly, he's the best. So for me to have an opportunity to work with him has been, unbelievable. And the trust and communication piece of it is critical. It's a great question, and I think right now it's going really well. We've never worked together, but at times we really do. We speak the same language, similar systems and things like that we can bounce back and forth ideas, and that piece of it's been going really well.
You talked about how unique it was that you guys talked about family right away. Is there anything you brought up in that conversation that you're willing to tell us that you're like, I can't believe we're talking about this like right now? I can't believe you got this deep with me.
No, really, it was just like the types of questions. He's not just asking face value questions, and I mean honestly, what you see is what you get with Coach, and that is like, to me, that's a breath of fresh air. He's going to be the same to you guys as he's going to be to us as coaches, as he's going to be to the players, as he's going to be to recruits. And that's just the reality of it. And you could pick up on that the first time I talked to him.
Everybody says it, but what was it that sort of made it click for you? That
Yeah, I mean, you ask somebody, do you have a family? Okay, great. And you move on to the next thing about the job, right? And then it's like, okay, tell me about your wife. Tell me about your daughters. Tell me about your son. You know what I mean? And you keep digging. Next thing you know, I'm on the phone for an hour, and it's like, holy smokes, So again, just how genuine he is, and when he gets to know somebody, he genuinely wants to get to know somebody. You know what I mean? There's not much, you're not getting much at face value. Like, he's going to dig with everybody he comes across.
Looking ahead to the scrimmage on Saturday, what would kind of, at the end of it, make a successful day for you?
Attitude and effort. How do they take coaching? How do they handle a mistake? How do they handle their successes, right? And are we running to the ball? And are we playing as a defense, as a full unit? I mean, at the end of the day, nothing else matters if we don't do those things.
Coach, with Deuce moving to safety, the cornerback's position is really wide open. Is there anybody that's impressed you a lot in these first couple weeks?
Again, all of those guys have been doing nothing but giving their best, putting in extra effort. They're all doing a really good job, and it's hard because when you're new staff, like every day they're getting better and better and better. And there hasn't been any of those guys that have just kind of fallen off yet. Like, everybody's climbing together. And I think it's going to be, it'll be a race into the first game.
Some of the players have talked about how much they appreciate your level of detail in the meeting room. So just kind of what's your approach to off-field coaching and training?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're all teachers, so for us, it's really important with Coach Elijah and Coach Wright. I mean, the way that we teach and the progression that we have is really, really critical. A lot of times you walk into a program as a new coach and maybe they've been running the system for a few years. Like, rarely do you do it literally on the front end. You are there the first day of a new staff or a new coordinator. And luckily for me, I've done that like a handful of times already. And I think the teaching piece of it is really important, because if you leave anything out, it's really hard to go back to once you kind of get that snowball rolling. So the teaching progression that we follow is really important.
Thanks.